My lapel is big enough for it.
Your chest is strong.
Yeah.
I told you,
You don't know me? You should because we work in business together. You're right. That thing's so good,
I don't know. I haven't seen him since he left.
Look at me. And so,
still look the same. 40 years
Charlie O'Neill, up in the corner from us.
And hitting the ceiling. Because you see all the work to be done, you know.
one time, but about 4 or 5 days, my son and I tell you.
I really don't need the microphone, but I'm going to use it anyhow. I've been asked to have the blessing. Also, we're going to salute the flag. I know some of you haven't been around where they salute the flag much anymore, and I don't want to embarrass anybody. I just saluted it last night. So the way they do it now is hold your thumb to the hand like that, place it over the heart. I'm going to ask you to, when we salute the flag, it's back here. I'll ask you all to stand, and we'll have the invocation and the salute the flag. You all stand, or can't be with us, maybe some of them are sick. Our kind and heavenly Father, humbly and thankful we come before thee this evening hour. We thank thee for this joyous occasion when we have at least 3 classes represented. Ask that thou be with us through the activities of the night, that we might each one renew our friendship, that we might share all of those things we can. We thank thee for the food that has been prepared, and I ask that thou bless the hands that prepared it, and that it might be used for our bodies, that we might serve thee to the best of our ability. For we pray all in the Master's name and for his sake. Amen. Now if you'll salute the flag with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now enjoy your meal. Thank you.
Very good, Tom. The rest of the night you'll be in good shape. Hey, Tom. One correction. It's 4 classes, not 3.
Yes, so.
I never could count.
I'm Leo Brown, class of 44-45. I live in Beaverdale, and I'm retired.
I'm George Bernowski, a class of 42,
I live in Clearwater, Florida. At the present time, I'm retired.
Hi, I'm Bernie Bernowski, and I'm in the class of 45. Next to me is my wife, former Maria Bentz. We've been married the next year for 45 years. We live in Johnstown, and we have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. And she is working, I'm retired 6 years, to support me.
Hi, he already explained everything about us.
I'm Lois Barton, the class of 45. I have 7 children, 17 grandchildren, and I'm still working, and I work for child development and daycare.
I'm wife of Leo. Leo's told you everything about us. We have 3 children and 3 grandchildren.
Ari, class of 42, married 47 years, 5 children, 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild. And retired, volunteer.
My name is Ray Warwick. I didn't graduate from Beaverdale. I graduated from Adams, and she's my wife.
Ann Edwards, class of 48, and I'm here with my husband, Ken. We have 2 children, and we live in New Jersey.
Kenneth Edwards, supposed to graduate with class of 43, went in the service, and that's all.
Joe Pluchak. I'm a guest of Ann Catcher. And,
You're my husband.
I'm her husband.
Joe, you did that in your room. You didn't say I was your wife. He got so nervous because he had to talk he didn't say. That's your class.
My name is Alex Afton. I'm a 42 graduate of Beaverdale High School. I'm a retired superintendent of Forest Hill School District. I have ambitions of being a professional golfer, but I'll never make it. And Gary, I'm still looking for the golden age. I don't know where the hell it is.
Hello. Hello. I accompanied my sister Agnes. I'm Margaret Koval Zamuda. I came from Silver Spring, Maryland, but born in Beaverdale and loved Beaverdale all my life. I still want to visit often. And I graduated from Beaverdale High School in 1940. We had our reunion a few years ago and enjoyed that very much and just had to come and see what you all were doing. Thank you. I'm Agnes Koval, and I graduated in 44, and this is our 50th reunion, and I never thought I'd live to see this, but I'm so happy that we're all here. I'm enjoying every minute of it. And my husband and I are both retired. My husband was a school teacher, and I was a cashier. And I think that's about it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is Pauline Brabarge. I graduated in 1943. Got married. I'm not going to say the year, because Maddie told me she was the first one married out of our class, and I think I was the last. Right? Anyway, I married Tom Jaworski. We have 4 children and 3 grandchildren living in Union, New Jersey, and we're retired.
Hey, Tom. No. Oh, that's right. He didn't graduate. I'm Priscilla Zaley, and Priscilla Zaley Miller. I live in Butler now. I have 3 sons, 3 grandchildren, and that's about it. You say it yours.
I'm Anne Valine Widener, and my husband is Regis Widener. We live in Pittsburgh. I have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren, and we're both retired.
I'm Kate Duca Madden. I married Frank Madden. I have 3 children, and I'm the class of 44.
My name is Lorraine George. I live in Lilly. I have 2 children. I graduated in the class of 44.
Me no speaky English. But my name is Gita Hirko, and I graduated for the class of 44, and it took me 13 years to do it in because of Mr. Booker, my 6th grade teacher. He liked me so much he didn't want to pass me.
I can't. I'm Carolyn Fish Corrigan, and my husband's Ronald Corrigan, and we have 6 children, and that's about it.
Graduated class of 48, live in Columbus, Georgia, and I'm retired from interior design.
I'm Wilma Boris. I'm a guest to Pucky Barton. I didn't graduate from Beaverdale High, but I'm enjoying this very much.
Yeah, my name's Pat O'Donnell. I graduated with a class of 44. I'm retired from the Postal Service, and I don't do much of anything but golf and bowl. This is my wife Gertrude, and she wants me to speak for her. She's with the class of 45. She was a nurse from the Mercy Hospital in town, and she doesn't do much of anything but take care of me.
Pucky Barton, and I would have been in the class of 1944, but I moved to California, and I live in Glendora, California. And I did graduate in 1978 at Covina High School.
We live at 1677 Up Drive, Worcester, Ohio. I'm retired from the Worcester Brush Company after 27 and a half years. This is my wife, Juanita, and she's retired after 44 and a half years with Rubbermaid Incorporated. And we're glad to be here, and we're certainly glad for the invitation. Thank you very much.
I know. I want to... Is the mic on? My name's Harold Holben, and my wife, Faye, with me. We're from up at Clarion, PA. I'm retired out of Joy Manufacturing out of Franklin, Pennsylvania. So I'm retired now.
Charles O'Neill. I would have been with a class of 44. I live in Thomasville, North Carolina, and I'm retired.
Hello, name is John Trish. This is my wife Pearl. We're out from Valley Forge Park, and we thought this was a great idea, and we're having a great time. Thank you.
Where you work? What do you do?
Oh, I'm semi-retired.
Well, you got to push a button here or something? Well, usually when you get it on there. I'm Chuck Choik, and I graduated with the class of 1942. I live in Parma, Ohio, with a wife. I had 2 children, Randy and Charlene. Randy lives in right now he's in Binghamton, New York, and Charlene lives in Phoenix, Arizona. I get a chance to visit them once in a while, and I'm retired now. My wife Sylvia is here beside me. Well, that's about it. So I'll pass it on to you. Try it out, Jack.
My name is Jack Schweltz, class of 42, and I've been living in New Jersey since 1950. And I get back to Beaverdale quite frequently. And I want to thank the committee for getting this affair all arranged. That's about it. Oh.
I'm Catherine Sweltz, Jack's wife, and we live in Parlin, New Jersey, and we're both retired, but busier than ever. And like Jack said, we get out here quite often, and we enjoy coming to these reunions and seeing all of our old friends.
I'm Elaine Catchmore. I live in Beaverdale. I'm a secretary at the school's credit union, and that's about it.
What class?
1945. Catherine didn't say.
I'm Andy Sweltz, the class of 1942, and I retired about 5 years ago. I was working in South Carolina. I guess I wish I'd be back there right now after the past winter, but I'm enjoying it here now. I'm living in Monalinda Heights, in Beaverdale.
Sylvia, I'm a retired homemaker and love it. Love every minute of it. That's it.
Hafer, graduated in 1945, and I'm a retired school teacher, and I live in Cleves, which is a suburb of Cincinnati.
I'm Ben Stupa. I class of 44. Worked for Ford for 33 years. I'm now retired from Ford Motor, raising grandchildren.
Burl and I live in Rochester, New York, class of 45. We have 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys. We're happy, we're survivors, we're living on.
Veronica Massler, I'm a guest this year.
Victor Massler, class of 45. My wife and I live in Beaverdale, and I retired as a carpenter.
Hi, class of 45. We're from Metuchen, New Jersey, and retired from General Motors 5 years.
Hi, I'm Rita, his wife, and I'm involved with the Woman's Aglow, a Christian organization in New Jersey, and we have 5 children and 9 grandchildren, and we're very content and happy in the Lord.
Hello, I'm Beryl Michaels, wife of Harry Michaels. We're from Rochester, New York, and I'm a guest this evening. And Harry retired from Mixing Equipment Company, where he worked 39 years in international sales.
I'm Paul Francis Ronan, class of 43, happily retired. I live in Beaverdale, Pennsylvania.
Your dad owned that beach bar.
Good. It's got my ice.
Go ahead, Pete. Just tell me your name. Just tell me your name.
You put the bill man if you don't. What are you passing back?
Bill Cholik, Mender, Ohio.
June Chulik, class of 42.
Kitty Shedlock, class of 46, but I'm here with Pete Shedlock, who wouldn't speak.
Get permission from my wife, because I can't speak without her knowledge. My name is Andy Kwok, and we live in North Olmsted, Ohio, and I'm retired, and I'm enjoying myself.
Lou Chulik, class of 1944, living in Mentor, Ohio, retired for 10 years and enjoying it.
Hi, Betty Hydu, lived in Beaverdale, class of 43. I'm here at this table with a bunch of kooks. We're having a great time. Glad we're here.
John Bukowski, living in Beaverdale, retired and enjoying it.
And Torma Pioli, class of 43. John and I were he was the best man, and I was the maid of honor for this couple here, Margaret and Andy. And this is our 3rd class reunion, or 3rd get-together. Great fun.
I'm Margaret Havani Kwok. I'm married to Andy, and
I hope so.
I'm retired with him, and I'm enjoying this reunion.
From North Carolina, some others had a long trip. This preacher was driving along minding his own business, and a great big sign where the state line was said, "Seat belts are mandatory." He didn't wear a seat belt. As soon as he crossed the state line, on goes the policeman's light. He pulled over and he's searching for that seat belt, finally found it, put it on. "Officer, what did I do wrong?" He said, "Nothing at all, sir. We'd just like to tell everybody that our speed limit is 10 miles less than the state you just left." "Thank you very kindly. I appreciate that." He said, "I see you wear your seatbelt." "Oh, I wear that all the time." "You always wrap it around the steering wheel before you crash?" And you know, a lot of you folks don't know me. I still live 3 miles away from where I graduated. Of course, they don't have that school anymore. I don't take credit for destroying it, but I did my share. I couldn't help think also about 2 truck drivers. You know, I'm going to call on you later, and I want you to give the name of your class and then introduce your mate. But I have to tell you about, always use your own name. 2 truck drivers got stuck in the snow. It must have been like this past winter we had. They couldn't get that truck out of there. They saw lights on the little farmhouse. Went up and they said, "Is there a tow truck around?" "Oh, yeah," but she said, "They're not open now." "Is there a hotel?" "Yes, 10 miles down the road." "What's your problem?" "Well, we're stuck in the snow and can't get out." "Well," she said, "I live here alone. Why don't you just sleep here?" He said, "Fine." 9 months later, the truck driver got a letter. He said to his buddy, "Hey, did you go see that lady that we stayed at?" "Yeah, why?" "Did you give her my name?" "Yeah." "Give her my address?" "Yeah, why?" He said, "I got a letter from her lawyer." He laughed. "What's that about?" Said she died and left her house to me. I'll bring him in every now and then. I'm going to introduce the ones at the head table. I already stood corrected because I only mentioned 3 classes in the prayer, 42, 43, 44, 45. See, I didn't have all my fingers up. There's 4 classes represented here tonight, and I'm going to start over to my extreme left. Many of you knew her as Miss Brown. I did then, too. So you know she's over 50. Her married name is Havercorn. That's her husband, Jim, beside her. I know him also. And Elaine Burkett was her maiden name. Now she's 12. And Margaret Hudak is next. And then Maddie Boyle. She's the one who was sitting beside me laughing all the time. She'd tell me stories.
Oh, my name was Steiger, too, before it was called.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought they said you staggered.
Even when I'm not drunk.
And the lady there in the nice red dress, she was in my class. I always looked up at her. I still look at her. Even if she has no shoes, I look at her. In fact, there's not too many in my class that look down on me. And then we have her husband, Joseph Sully. Many of you might know him too. I know he taught some of my nephews. So I know that some of you could also help that. I'm going to ask Helen to come up first. She wants to make some comments here and get things rolling. Then we're going to start calling on the others also at the head table. Helen, if you'll come up now. Helen. She's getting old after she eats and sleeps.
Real the long, the short, and the tall. Okay, I welcome everybody. Hope you had enough to eat. I never thought this reunion would get off the ground, but I had a lot of great help. And I want to introduce all those who helped me in any way whatsoever. We attended breakfast meetings where we all paid for our own breakfast. We attended a meeting here one night where we didn't even have anything to eat or drink. From the class of 1942, Andrew Swells and Margaret Hudak, thank you. The class of 1943, Ann Forma Pioli, sorry. From the class of 43, Elaine Burkett Swells.
Don't look.
I don't know. This is not my forte. From the class of 44, Kate Dukas, Meddy, Margaret Hirko, Pat O'Donnell, and Agnes Koval Mahalko. And from the class of 45, Lois Bastion Barton, Gertrude Petkosh O'Donnell, Victor Massler, Elaine Katchmar, and Bernard Renofsky. I believe they all deserve a round of applause. They also baked all these delicious cookies. Aren't they great? Yes. They look good, they smell good, and they taste good. And many thanks to Priscilla Zaley Miller, who brought cookies from Butler, and Carolyn Matish Corrigan, who brought cookies from Mechanicsburg. I hope all of you signed my book. It was out there. Not very fancy, but very functional. If you didn't, I'll leave it out there. You can sign it again. Reminder that the library is going to be open Saturday and Sunday. They have a lot of nice things for you to look at. Katie Medden has a scrapbook of all the war news from the 40s. Ida McNellis gave all her clippings for the library, and John Marr gave all his servicemen's pictures. So they're all up there. Please come and see them. Also, David Brown has a film where he shows the mine trip coming out of the mine underneath Jefferson Avenue, where Alec Afton used to live. It's a really, really interesting film. So if you come up to the library, we'll have it running for you. Also, don't forget, if you're interested in the film for Mr. Chamberlain. Another thought, a lot of your parents are leaving, are dying, leaving their homes for you to go through their memorabilia. Please think about the library. We'll take very good care of any movies, any film, any newspaper clippings. Think about sending this to us. I know Harry Michaels does. Where's Harry Michaels? He has sent quite a few things to the Beaverdale Library, and that's very nice. We appreciate it very, very much. Okay, so it's great seeing you all. Stick around, have fun. Thank you.
And he's on one level, and down below there's a Czechoslovakian. A big sign, please don't feed the animal. The Czechoslovakian doesn't pay any attention, he's feeding them. First thing you know, that tiger just drug him right in. This Jewish fellow hollered, "Security, security!" I went, "What is your trouble, fella?" He said, that tiger just ate a Czech. Which one? The male. They killed the male tiger, cut it open, it wasn't there. Must have been the other one. They cut the female open, it wasn't there. So the moral of that story, don't believe the Jew when he tells you the Czech's in the mail. I'm going to give Mrs. Haverford a chance now to make some comments. Come over to the microphone if you will, please. If you're not in school now, you can't holler like you did there. I like to pick on school teachers. I have two daughters, a daughter-in-law and a son-in-law that's teachers.
Reminds me of Trevor.
Well, I'm behind you.
I'd like to thank those who were responsible for inviting my husband and I here tonight. We really enjoyed coming, and it's so good to see a lot of familiar faces, although I had to read your names and then kind of recollect a little bit because there has been a good bit of change, I guess, for me too.
Talk a little louder, man.
Can't do that. All right.
Microphone.
In the mic. I often hear from the different girls that I had in class, which I was a home economics teacher, the first home economics teacher they had in Beaverdale. And it was a great challenge for me, and it was a new subject, and everybody loved it. And all the girls who took the class, I think, enjoyed it. I know I did. Some of my most memorable years were spent teaching in I want to say Richland, in Beaverdale High School. And I hope that some of the things that I taught them, they carried along with them and used them to help make their home and their family a better home. And the reason I say that is because you hear that the home is the foundation of the nation. And the better the homes are, the better the nation is. I think our country needs a little bit of extra help these days. I know your families are all raised and your homes are pretty much settled now. But for anyone else who's coming along, the new families, the younger families, if you have any influence on them, remind them that the home is the foundation of the nation and they should try a little harder to make home a little better place. Thank you.
Her job wasn't near as hard today because they freeze and fall. Just use that microwave. Even I can cook that way. I'm going to ask Elaine Burkett if she'll give us some of her wisdom. She must have it.
You're right.
I've looked up to her, too. I know that, but I'm going to say it.
I just want to say it was a real pleasure helping with this reunion. And I want everybody to know if it wouldn't have been for Helen Suey and all the work and all the telephone calls that she made, you certainly wouldn't have gone off to the ground floor. It was fun meeting all the times that we met and get it all established. And I really think we need to give Helen a big hand for all the work that she did here. Thank you. Margaret Hudak will be next. I'm taking over, Tom.
She felt she's taken over. She's done. You know, I know tomorrow you're going to have armed forces and everything. My wife's on our vacation right now. I'm going to catch up with her tomorrow. But I couldn't help but think about a man that was in World War I and World War II, and when they come to the Korean War, he wouldn't go. They said, "Did you lose your patriotism?" "No. World War I, I got the diarrhea. World War II, I got the gonorrhea. I don't know anything about this cobria." Margaret Hudak, if you'll come up, please.
I would like to welcome all my classmates, class of 1942, plus everybody else. I feel proud because I feel that the class of 42 really started this affair, and it has progressed very nicely since then. I hope everybody enjoys the evening. I hope everybody enjoys the camaraderie with your former classmates, and I hope we continue to have these reunions every year from now on. And the funny thing is that a lot of people are interested in it that weren't in these classes, and if they are interested, they should get in touch with, right now it'll be Bernie Bernosky is going to be in charge of the next reunion, and if they are interested in getting possibly a 40, 41 class started, maybe he'd be interested in getting that started also. So see Bernie, and I hope everybody enjoys themselves tonight.
That doesn't mean you're not known. It's nice to be wanted. My picture's up in the post office. I live out in the country, and I couldn't help but think about the fellow who was driving out in the country and he saw a farmer milking a cow. "Excuse me, sir, could you tell me where Agway is?" "Yes," he said, "a half a mile off the road, make a right turn, go 1 block, turn left, it's right on the corner." "Thank you." Went to get in the car, I said, "You wouldn't know the time, would you?" "Yeah." Lifted up the cow's udder, he said, "It's 4:30. "Thank you." Went to get in the car. "Sir, I've milked many cows in my day. Would you show me how to tell time that way?" "Yes," he said, "kneel down beside me." Lifted up the cow's udder. You see that electric clock over there? Okay, Johnny Steiger Boyle, if you'll come over, please.
Tell your best.
I'm Maddie Steiger Boyle, and I was with the class of 43. I just really enjoyed these last couple years. I think I talked more than I ever did when I was in school. And it seemed every time that they wanted me, call me on the phone or anything, I was on my way either to Virginia or somewhere else, Ohio or somewhere. But I just really enjoyed this. It's really a hard job, but it's worthwhile. So I hope that everyone that is invited would really come. The one thing I was really glad for tonight is our name tags, because I wouldn't have knew hardly anyone. Thank you.
My wife didn't take a chance on that name tag. I have a tie pin with my name on it, in case I get lost. We're going to start now to my left over there. And I'm going to ask you to do it this way, if you will, please. The class member, if they'll stand up and then introduce their mate. Let me tell you something that happened about 2 months ago. I was the entertainment for a class that graduated 55 years ago. They had 8 people at a table, and everything went fine that way until they come to the second last table. A lady got up and said, "I'm Helen Smith. This is my husband," and pointed, or "This is my wife," and pointed to her husband. And I said, that was a slip of the tongue. But think about it. Those that are graduating now, 55 years from now, they'll probably get up and say, "I'm Joe Smith. This is my buddy Barney Jones. I'm Helen Schuster. This is my roommate Margaret here, girl." I know them both. It can't hurt me. Now, if we'll start to my left there, whoever was the class member. I
live in Worcester, Ohio, and we're both retired.
Okay, you have any comments of any kind, just make them happy. This is supposed to be a joyous
This is a joyous occasion. The food is great. The companionship has been great. Seeing a few of the people that I would have graduated with in our class, great. Thank you.
Good. Okay, going right down along that wall over there, please. Whoever's in the class.
Pat O'Donnell, class of 44. I'm retired from the Postal Service. This is my wife Gertrude. She was class of 45. Having a wonderful time. Nice to see everybody. Thank you.
Andrew Mose, class of 44. Live in Fort Myers, no longer here. My wife Joyce, I'm with. Tonight. No, I'm having a great time, and I'm really happy to see and meet everybody again. Thank you.
Beaverdale. I should have graduated in 44, but I did in 1978 from Covina High School so that I could go work with the handicapped, and greatest job I ever had. Still do hair. But, I just love seeing everybody. It was really great.
Anyone who does hair has a handicap.
Yeah, I did. I got 2 middle knees, and they're wonderful.
I'm Alice Huff. I live in Columbus, Georgia, and retired from interior design in a class of 48. And I've enjoyed it very much. It's the first time I've been to a class reunion since I graduated. Thank you. Now, I was married to Michael Hamalish, and he died 18 years ago.
Any others at that table? You know, I made...
Paul, from Dunlop. And I have 3 sons and 3 grandsons, and I'm very happy to see everybody having a nice time.
Thank you.
I'm Martha F. Winder, Pauline. This is my husband, Regis. Living in Pittsburgh now. I have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren.
So there more at that table or not? The next table back then.
Hey, I'm Helen McVary. I've been married for 47 years. We have 2 children, a boy and a girl, 5 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandson, whom we babysit and feel it's an honor. And we're glad to be here tonight to see so many dear faces.
You know, she said she married those many years. 2 years before my wife and I got married, I told her I wasn't good enough for her, and she said I spent the next 46 proving it. The table right in the middle there then is the glass table, please. Class members, get up. Go ahead, Bernie, you're standing.
Okay, I'm Bernie Bernowski. I'm in the class of 45. There's quite a few of our classmates here. So next year, we have a class of 46 coming in with us. So that'll make 5. And I made arrangements now to have it Memorial Weekend. Memorial Day is on a Tuesday. So I try to plan it on a Sunday night. It's a long weekend. So I'll have to get the committee together and get 2 from each class in organized. Helen did a very good job, and it's a lot of work. So I know I'll get the cooperation next year, so we don't know where we're going to have it, but it's Memorial Weekend, probably on a Sunday evening. Okay?
Anyone else at that table? Some of you must not want to bitch and graduate.
I'm from the class of 42, and we had our 50th reunion just 2 years ago, but this is just as enjoyable because I'm meeting more people here from the classes below us, or after us. I'm from Florida. I've been married 37 years, and I have 2 sons. And my wife is a former Agnes squawk. She couldn't make it here this time. But I'm surely enjoying myself here, meeting all these people I haven't seen for a long time. And I hope you all enjoy yourselves. What's your name? George Bernowski.
Leo Brown, class of 45, retired machinist, and I live in Beaverdale.
My name is Alex Afton, class of 42. I'm here with my wife of 44 years, Patricia. I sincerely enjoy it, but I wish somebody would tell me, where in the heck is the golden age? Did I miss it?
You're just coming to it, Ellie. See, some people wonder why I haven't been killed before this, but I intend to live to be 95 and get shot by a young, jealous husband, so I go out to second story. I told that to the nurse, and she said, Tom, that's not a dream, that's a nightmare. I said, I don't worry about nightmares. I put a saddle at the foot of my bed every night. Why? If I get a nightmare, I'm going to ride it. Next table, please, in the middle.
No. Wait, we got a couple more here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I must be one of the oldest here. I'm from the class of 1940. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, and having a good time. I'm Margaret Koval Zamunda. I'm Agnes Koval, and this is my husband Andy, and we've been married 43 years. We're retired. We're enjoying it. We have 5 children, 9 grandchildren.
You look well for that time. I know about grandchildren. Next table, please, in the middle. If they're all done now.
I'm Carolyn Corrigan, and this is my husband, Ronald. And we have 6 children and 10 grandchildren. And we also are enjoying our retirement.
Some others, yeah.
My name is Margaret Hertel, and if you remember, I imitated the ink spots in high school. And it took me 13 years to graduate from school because of Mr. Booker, the 6th grade teacher. He liked me so much, he just wouldn't let me go.
Is that why you never got married? Any others?
My name is Lorraine George. Lorraine Hunter Burns George. And I have 2 children, a girl and a boy, and I'm very happy. I can't.
I'm Kate Duca Madden. I'm married to Frank Madden. We have 3 children and 2 grandchildren.
I should tell this about Katie now because it has to do with her nationality. I tell you, man, I was asked to go out to New York and help his niece name. They had a boy and a girl twin. 3 days later, you come back and says, what'd you call a girl? Denise. That's nice. What'd you call a boy? D-nephew. In the middle, please. The next table this way, they're all done there. What about Corrigan up here? Ron Corrigan?
My wife already introduced me. I'm Ron Corrigan, class of 42. And we have 6 children and 10 grandchildren.
I'll say one thing for you. You're well trained. That's the next thing to a robot that I've ever seen. Next table, please.
I'm Charles O'Neill. I would have graduated with a class of 44, but Uncle Sam decided different, so I've been married now 47 years. Have 3 children, 2 grandchildren. Live in Thomasville, North Carolina. It's been real nice meeting everybody here. I haven't seen for over 50 years.
Good to have you with us. There must be others here.
Name's John Trish. I live in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. The wife, Pearl, she has, she wants to retire. I won't let her. I'm semi-retired. Got 5 children. Had some good days, and the nights weren't bad either.
Okay.
I'm Harold Colvin. I belong to the class of 45, but I didn't graduate with the group. And I quit a little bit early. But anyhow, I went on to, I thought I was kind of stupid, see. And the longer, as the years went by, the longer I thought about it, I thought, surely I'm not as stupid as I think I am. So anyhow, in '71, I took the GED test and I finally got a diploma then. So I felt good about that. I didn't have to do it. I just did it for my own benefit, see, because I didn't want to think or go through the rest of my life thinking I was so stupid. But anyhow, I'm retired from Joy Manufacturing out of Franklin, PA. And we live now in Clarion. This is my wife, Faye. And I have a son. And I have a daughter to a previous marriage. But she and I have been married 34 years, right? Oh, boy. Yeah, so long, can't even remember. But anyhow, I'm glad that Helen sent me the letter. I talked to Elaine a few years ago here. Well, her and Jack was down at, what was that restaurant down there in Richland? And she tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're Helen Holman, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." And of course, as soon as I seen her, I knew who she was then. And she said, "Well, we're going to try to organize a 50th class reunion. Would you be interested in going?" And I said, "Well, sure, I'd like that." Because, you know, I see all you people, and I'll tell you, I don't remember you. I was going around, "Hey, who are you? Let me look at that tag," you know. But anyhow, now that I met some of you, I do remember. And I just told Charlie here, the thing that we should have done was got our school picture and tacked on here. And then we would have remembered who we are. But anyhow, I'm glad that Helen sent me the letter. I'm glad that Elaine had talked to me about it, because I was real happy. In fact, the matter is, the reunion didn't come off. And here, I guess it was a year and a half ago, I thought, well, maybe they had it and they forgot about me. So I stopped down where Elaine works and I said, "Did you have that reunion?" She says, No. We're still getting it fixed up. So anyhow, I'm here and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Good. You know, you said about how long it took you to get graduated and you thought how stupid you were. A little boy in 1st grade raised his hand. He said, "Teacher, can I go to the bathroom?" "Go ahead, Tommy." He came back crying. She said, "What's the matter?" He said, "I can't find it." She said, "You've been there many times." Well, Bill was the biggest boy in the class. Said, "Billy, take Tommy down there." Pretty soon Bill came back and he's laughing. "What's so funny?" He said, "No wonder he couldn't find it. He had his pants on backwards." That was in Reader's Digest. So this table here, if you will, please.
This is my wife, Catherine, of 35 years. And I've been retired for going on my 9th year, and I'm working harder than ever.
Cameron would like to face.
I'm
I'm Catherine Sweltz, and formerly I was a Chulik, and you didn't say. So we live in Parley, New Jersey, and we're busier than ever.
We can protect you tonight, but after that. All right.
I'm Elaine Catchmark, class of 1945. And those of you that know me well won't believe this, but I am at a loss of words. When we graduated, Reverend Murray, the topic of his sermon at the baccalaureate was "The Life Begin at 40," and I really listened to him, and I believed it. I thought it was so, but I found out it was too late then. Thank you.
I'm Andrew Sweltz, class of 1942. I'm retired and I live in Onlinda Heights. New address is Shawnee Road. Anybody knows where that's at? I try to contact former classmates of ours. Dick Adamick, Margaret said to try to get a hold of him. I called him up, but he's coming in for the vets reunion, but in fact he came in today, but he didn't have time to get into this reunion. And a few other, Francis Candra, I tried to talk him into coming in, and I guess his brother Yunner, they just didn't make it this year. And there's Joe Bruno, I don't say, he's not here, is he? Did we get a response from him?
Nothing.
Nothing. Well, maybe next year we'll get the rest of the class in. Thank you.
I'm Chuck Cholik. I'm a class of 1942. My wife Sylvia. We've been married for 46 years.
Yay!
We made it somehow. We have a son who lives in Binghamton, New York, and a daughter who lives in Phoenix, Arizona. 6 children, so we have 6 grandchildren. And those are the only 2 children we had, Charlene and Randy. And I enjoy these reunions very much, and I'm going to keep coming as long as we have them, as long as I can. Thank you.
Table right in front of me here. Right here, Bill.
Ready?
Yeah.
Bill Morgan, class of 44. I didn't graduate with him because I called off the service, but I still consider myself one of the class. My wife Margaret, we had 6 children, real quick, and some of them are around here, some of them are further away. I only have 4 grandchildren. They didn't get too well educated. Maybe I didn't know how to teach them. But anyway, I'm semi-retired. I live up on top of the hill over here. And I'm glad to see everybody. It's just nice to see everybody again.
I'm Jean Orr Hafer, and this is my husband, Ned Hafer. I graduated in 45. Mother of 3 sons, and we have 7 grandchildren. Wow. And we live in Cincinnati, and I'm a retired school teacher.
I'm Ben Stupine, class of 44. This is my wife, Mary, the mother of my 7 children. And I'm partly responsible for a couple of these people up front. I told Tommy when we were going to school, if he would follow me around, he'd get to be a great storyteller and a minister. Happened. And I told Helen, keep doing my homework, she'll be a good worker. She puts it on. Well, I'm kind of responsible for those 2 people up there. Thank you.
You know, Ben reminded me of something when he said that. Quite often when young people live near each other, they become childhood sweethearts and get married. This young man was 22 years old, and he told his dad, I gave Mary, the next door girl, an engagement ring. Boy, son, I wish you wouldn't have done that. Why? He said, you see, I never wanted to tell you this, but I'm her father, too. Oh, the man was devastated. He went to his mother, and his mother says, you go ahead and marry her. He's not your father. Next table there, please. Can we get them all here? Okay, next table, please.
I anticipated this, so I made a few notes. No, I'm happy to be here. It's a great time every time I come back to Beaverdale and see faces. And it causes me to remember many things. I called Helen, maybe a month and a half ago, and ended up talking for 45 minutes. It was a great conversation, and we removed a lot of things. But I'm happy to be here with my wife, Pearl, of 33 years. I can't come up to 47 like some. But I said at our 25th reunion, 24 years ago, that she's the best thing that ever happened to me, and I say that again tonight. I believe it. I don't tell her often. And we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. And we have, the boys are electricians. One's got his own business. And our daughters are both in the medical field. One is a radiology technician. And Susan, our youngest daughter, after spending 2.5 years in Africa as a missionary nurse, is getting her second master's degree at Yale University. We just came from there yesterday. I spent 39 years with Mixing Equipment Company, primarily in international sales of equipment. Retired in '89. I feel great. We're living a wonderful life. I'm happy to be here. I've seen some people in a different light tonight, including Tommy Adams. I never saw this side of him. But I saw Kenny Westover, Paul Stupai tonight, people I haven't, some others I haven't even seen in 50 years. And there's Lorraine Hunter, a neighbor that I enjoyed and grew up with. It's great to be here. It's good to see you. I haven't talked to everybody yet, but I hope I get to personally say hello to each one. Thank you. And thanks for all of our work.
Daughters, try to talk back. I retired as a carpenter, and it's nice to renew old acquaintances.
I'm Paul Subai, class of 45, but I got the diploma later, retired from General Motors. This is my wife Rita, of 45 years. We have 5 kids and 9 grandchildren. Glad to be here. This is our first thing here.
I'm glad to see that none of the folks here are suffering from Alzheimer's disease. You don't seem to have any trouble recollecting things. This man and wife were sitting in their rocking chairs watching TV. Out of the corner of his eyes, he thought he saw her movement. Going to the kitchen, Mom. Yeah. Bring me a dish of ice cream. Mark it down so you don't forget it. You know, women are really touchy. I don't have to mark it down. She went on by and said, put a little bit of butterscotch topping on. Mark it down so you don't forget it. I don't have to mark it down. She's ready now to step into the kitchen. Mom, put a few nuts on top of that. Mark it down so you don't forget it. I don't have to mark it down. Pots and pans are rattling. She comes back. Eggs sunny side up, 1 slice of toast, and he looked right at her and said, see, I told you if you didn't mark it down, you'd forget my coffee. Last table and down here, last but not least. Oh, boy.
Dorothy Ronan. I have one son, 2 daughters, 5 granddaughters, 2 grandsons, and I work at Guystown Pharmacy. That's it.
Hey, Doc, how about Phil? Is that everyone there? I don't want to slight anybody.
June Thomas Short, class of 42. I'm married to Bill, 45 years. We have 1 daughter, 2 grandchildren, and we live in Mentor, Ohio.
I'm Lou Chuley, class of 44. Spent all my years in education. I've been retired 10 years, live in Mentor, Ohio.
Doesn't want to talk.
There's something you don't want to talk about.
Is that all that's going up in any class back there?
Hi, I'm Betty Hydu. I live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm class of 43. I have 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Hi, Mom. Why change that?
Andy Kwok, class of 42, and I'm so happy to see 42's class well represented at this reunion, because it was the best class. I mean, there's no argument. And, I've been retired 16 years, and I live in North Homestead, Ohio. We have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Thank you.
Since you said that was the best class, we'll have a confession later. Some of you know that Bill Elshon and I only lived a half a mile apart the whole time we went to high school. Bill's quite a fisherman, and I used to be. I just talked about it now. But I'm going to get some fishing starting tomorrow because I'm going up where my wife is, and there is good fishing up there, if she'll let me go. But I have to tell you a story about this man come in. Saw a group of fellows. He said, "Are any of you Pierre?" "No." "Do you know Pierre?" "Yeah." "Is he a good fisherman?" "Best in the area." "Where will I find him?" "Down at Pier 3. He's going to leave in 15 minutes. Went down, he saw the man there. "Are you Pierre?" "Yes, I am." "You a good fisherman?" "Best in the area." "Mind if I go with you?" "Get in the boat." They get out in the boat, right in the middle of the pond, drop both anchors. The man looks around, he said, "I don't see any fishing rods. I don't use them." "You're the best fisherman, you don't use a fishing rod." "No." "You lit a stick of dynamite and flipped it in." Boom! Taking in the fish by the net full. Fellow says, "I'm going to have to arrest you. I'm a fish warden." "I don't think you're going to arrest me." "Yes, I am. You did wrong." "No," he said, "I don't think so." He said, he lit another stick of dynamite and handed it over. He said, "You going to fish or what?" I heard about the children, grandchildren, that I have to tell you, we have 3 children. They're all grand. And I have 8 grandchildren. And seeing we like to be equal opportunity, we have 4 of each. Some of you don't know this about my family. I come from a family of 12. And I was actually a depression baby. Mom and Dad was both depressed when I was born, and mother never got over it. But my brother and I are twins. We both were born May the 17th, but he was born 6 years after me. I have another brother. My youngest brother was born the 1st of October, and my next to my oldest brother was born the 1st of October, 23 years apart. And this is no story. This is really true. Helen, did you say something about one? We have a fellow that's a girl that I'd like her to come up here. She's responsible for writing a book, and it's going to be in the library and everything. Would you want to come up and make some plugs for that? Explain where all the money's going?
We're talking about Ann Paoli.
Oh.
She didn't say it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where's Ann Paoli? No wonder. You're a good waiter. And that's unusual for a woman.
I'm Ann Paoli, and this is my 3rd reunion with this gang, and some that came this year, and it's been a lot of fun. And I hope we continue having these, and I hope I'm able to continue coming. I will as long as I'm around. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, this one, she's married to Andy. I'm Margaret Havani Clark, and I'm married to Andy, and he spoke for both of us. We grew up together in Beaverdale, and we got married. We were high school sweethearts, I guess. We ended up getting married. We're living in Cleveland now. I'm still with them. Thank you.
You're to be congratulated for that. You know, sometimes I do get too speedy because I think of different things. My mind's always going. There was a time when this man was riding with another fella, and the light was red, or was green, and he stopped. "Are you crazy?" My brother always was through on red lights. So the next light was red right through it. Are you crazy? You're gonna get us killed. He said, I'm telling you, my brother always goes through it. They went through 4 red lights. The next light was green. He hit the brakes so hard he almost put it through the windshield. Are you crazy? Hey, he said, my brother might have been coming the other way. Was there someone else I missed back there?
Tommy, would you please invite all the people to the Beaverdale Veterans Reunion Saturday and Sunday, and especially Sunday at the War Memorial in Beaverdale in the region.
Yes, I did take it for granted that all of them knew about that. I'm sorry about that. That's tomorrow and Sunday both. You're still going to have activities going on, so don't spend all of your energy tonight.
How about Pauline Jaworski? She has
Back there, Bill Drobnik.
Pauline?
Bill Drobnik is the author of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about Beaverdale.
Yeah. Is there one we missed out?
Pauline Jaworski.
Oh, there's Bill.
I'm glad to be here. I'm especially glad to be here because I was just informed by the former Ann Catcher that I was recently listed in the obituary column of the Tribune Democrat. So this is my resurrection. All kidding aside, I have been a journalist, which means I work for a newspaper, but I'm really a simple guy, as most of you know. I worked for the Somerset American, Johnstown Tribune, Pittsburgh Press. Then I made a mistake. I went into teaching, with all apologies to Mr. Afton. And then I retired, and after I retired, I started writing a column for a small paper. And I'm in my 10th year, and ironically, the guy who asked me to write the column was a former English student of mine at Northern Bedford High School, which is in Bedford County. So these columns go up from 85 to 91. And I don't know if any of you will find yourself in here or not. However, this is one that I am selling now, and I am presently working on another one. If you buy this one, then you're eligible to buy volume 2. And I'll make sure you hear about it because I'll get the list of the people who are here from Ellen Sui, I hope. That's all I have to say, except don't overrun me in the rush back here to buy it, because it's only $5 and the picture on the cover is worth 4 of the $5. It's a picture of Beaverdale in 1910. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
We missed somebody back here, a dear friend of mine I grew up with and got into more trouble with than probably anybody else in this room, Kenny Edwards. Why don't you call it?
I was in class of 45, I never made it. This is my wife, Ann. We live in New Jersey now. We have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. And this is the second time we've been here, and I think it's great.
Yes, I do. I'd like to ask anyone if they know the whereabouts of Rita McNeil that used to live in Beaver Run, if they could give me some, you know?
Yes.
I know. Oh, good.
I know her sister, Lorette. Pauline Barge. Okay.
Thank you.
Can't even sneak away. Okay, I'm Pauline Barbarge, my husband Tom. We live in New Jersey, have 4 children, 3 grandchildren, 2 engineers, 1 accountant, 1 financial analyst. I have pictures if anybody wants to see them. And we're retired. That's all.
Anyone else? And Catcher?
And Palucci.
Felicia,
Yeah, and blue check.
go get your gun, Annie.
Andy, maybe get up.
Give him a big hand, okay?
I heard Joe up here say he got in touch with everyone in their class but 2 people. He said if he didn't get in touch with them, they're either in jail or dead. This fellow was robbing at night. They do their best work then on the 2nd floor, no lights on. Back in the corner, he saw a pair of eyes following him. And the voice kept saying, Jesus is watching. He said, I know. Going on, touching things. Jesus is watching. These eyes are watching. I know. Goes around the room and finds something heavy, put it in a bag. Put it in a bag. Finally, these eyes are watching. That voice keeps saying, he come to a lamp and he turned it on. The eyes belonged to a Doberman pinscher. The voice was a parrot up in a cage. He said, Jesus is watching. He said, hey, buddy, that all you can say? He said, no. Let me hear you say something else. Suck him, Jesus.
Happy anniversary, dear Bill. Happy anniversary to you.
I'm humbly and thankful to come before thee this evening now, Lord. Thankful, Lord, that we may do so. We thank thee for the times that we've had together, for the meal. I'm looking forward to those times that we can serve again. We ask, Father, that thou bless each one that traveled some distance. May they each one have a safe journey home. May they enjoy the fellowship that follow, and each one of us come to know the other better. We ask it all in Jesus' precious name and for his sake. Amen. Amen.
Hey, Gertie, don't get my sister. She's on camp.
Money.
It's ready, won't it? Money. It has to turn, the light inside has to turn.
Everybody look this way.
Be here. I have 2 children. One's an attorney in a law firm in San Francisco, and my son is in the Marines, who is a lieutenant colonel. It's been a nice night, and we're very glad we could be here. Thank you.
I'm Maddie Steigers Boyle. I'm a widow. I was married to Paul James Boyle. I have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. I have 12 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren, and I live in Bedford County, and it was great being here.
Okay, I'm Helen Suey. I've been married 43 years to Joe Suey, my equal half. I have 7 children, 3 sons, 4 daughters, and 13 grandchildren. We're both healthy and still talking to each other, which I feel is a blessing. And it's great to be here tonight. Thank you.
I'm Tom Adams, a class of 44. I have 3 children and 8 grandchildren. And I was glad to be here. Had the opportunity to be the master of ceremonies. And when I get out alive, I always count that a good deal. Thank you very much.
relatives. It almost looks and feels like a family reunion. And I hope you're having a good time in the mixer, and I hope you'll have this later. But let's start off, if you will, with the posting of the covers. If you will, please. If I could ask you to join with us in the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. At this point in the festivities, I think we should pause for a moment really to remember all of our area people who have lost their lives in the conflict of our great nation, and to those veterans who afterwards died after serving their country. So if we could just take a moment of silence to remember all our family and friends that have lost their lives, I appreciate it. You know, we're pretty lucky folks to be sitting here. Many of you I know, thank goodness, a lot older than I am, but I feel not so age to this time. But I look around and I remember a lot of the folks that served in World War II, looking across to where I was born and raised, and some of the flags in the house of Swelses, where they had the 5 stars flag, and many of the houses you remember had that, and many of the people are still here today, and I think that's a magnificent tribute to this community. I guess I'd like to applaud all of you who have served this great, with your great sacrifice and service to your nation and to our country. But I guess we also have to acknowledge the sacrifices that were given in the life of your wives, friends, spouses, and relatives, because while we were away doing our duty, they were at home worrying and taking care of the chores that we shall like to do and like to perform, which is our job. And I think we forgive them, because I think in some instances their sacrifice was greater than ours. I think, though, that I would like to remember most the people who were wounded, the people that paid illnesses from their conflict, and are still continuing that sacrifice. Because I think, at least in my mind, that these are the true living heroes. The people that I can't imagine when I look around at some of my friends through the terror and horror that they went through. It's almost unimaginable. And yet they're hanging on with their lives and doing such great things. A lot of the people here I recall have done this and are continuing to, if you will, serve their country, serve the community, and serve their families. And I would like to want to applaud you folks. I'm really pleased to be here on personal note. Like I said before, I look around and I see so many people that I knew, particularly places that I grew up, relatives, friends, really a great bunch of people. Over my lifetime, I've been through a lot of areas. I've served with a lot publicize the feats of veterans in the area, put together a lot of memorability for the Beaverdale veterans, where you can see in the library, and I should look at it. It's just so tragic that several years ago he passed away and ended up being with us this evening. But you know, I think that sometimes that we feel that ever present, if you will, shadow, I think sometimes they are here. And I guess I would like to say that he was one that really did the veterans proud each Memorial Day, always putting together a lot of services, always eulogizing all the people here and all the veterans. And I think we owe him and people like him a great deal on that report. We truly regret his absence and the absence of anybody else who was unable to attend. Next, I guess I would like to ask, who is the chaplain, if you will, for 460, to give the invitation.
Almighty and eternal God, we humbly praise you for the grace and inspiration you have bestowed on the veterans of our country to carry on the struggle for freedom and peace during our past history. Your divine providence caused this nation to prevail over forces intent on destruction of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. May you abundantly bless the efforts of all of us who are gathered here today in recognition of the memory of living and departed veterans who have served our country with courage and valor. And bless the food we are about to receive from that bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen.
I guess with that, there will be served.
I would like to this day will live in infamy. And you became familiar with some of those other terms. They weren't just in the geography book on the history teacher that was free or with the man. You know, when you came up to the jungles of Beaverdale, or where you over there that had a couple of gentlemen here earlier in these days, as we went to earlier this month, D-Day, the day in Normandy Beach, or where you not in Antioch. Did you fall less well, Bill? Back out to the Pacific, did you come up to any of those islands? Hey, Tinian, Whiteman, God, how was that something uneven to you, huh? Hey, when they finally dropped the big one, they finally dropped the Enola Gay line, of course, 1945, of that boy. And they sold it to me about 4 days later. They hit him from anything escaped, but I could recall the airplane. It gave me a former Air Force person. They finally gave on down to the second volume of the law. And it was all over. And here you are 20 years later, even after the guy said, you want to read up? Hey, we have to definitely shake our heads off. Definitely salute all the veterans, not just from World War II. I'm bringing this up in the 75th year anniversary year of the American Union. But certainly, our country owes its very existence to all veterans from all wars. So, may I say briefly together, God bless America, God bless America's veteran people. Thank you.
At this time, before we have the president introduce our next speaker this evening, I just want to say, as part of the meeting, I guess being pushed out to great thing to say whatever you want to your time. But we have in our speaker tonight one of the most dedicated individuals in Congress who fights for not only the active duty military, the reserves, National Guard, and retirees. He is filled to forgive us. And he's one of our friends and one of our staunchest allies, and I, for one, would like to publicly salute Bill Williams.
When the Beaverdale Veterans Reunion became the grand search for the main speaker of the Union Veterans, they collectively agreed persons should be one outstanding military record. Forgetting to get back is not particularly much of use. But a person in the political arena only has his life here, choosing a speaker for such an emotional occasion. The executive committee wanted to ask Congressman John Murphy to be honored. We have chosen a person with outstanding military record as well as a person who has achieved respect and success in serving the people of this
Beaverdale. I mean, this shows the patriotism of this great country. When you see the people that served and the people who were at home when they served, and that was just as important as the Colonel said, just as important the people that stayed at home. I delivered papers during World War II. My dad left in 1941. He was gone over 4 years. 3 of his brothers went during World War II. 3 of them in the European theater. One of them was shot down in Europe in a year of prison camp. Never heard him talk about it. He went away for 4 years, came back, and went right back to work. That's the way it was in this country in those days. And of course, the Korean War veteran is just as important. The Vietnam veteran, a lot of people criticize the Vietnam veteran and criticize that war. But see in this great area, and why it's so easy for me to attract industry to this area, because they know that I'll be a day's work when they hire a person. So when I look at a person to serve in service, when I see the people that volunteer or draft and stay at home during the great effort, the concentrated effort of this great country, I think to myself of all the sacrifice that all you folks have made over the years, it makes me proud to be American. I remember when Lech Walesa came to the capital of the United States, and he walked down the aisle only 5 times in American history has anybody ever spoken to the Congress of the United States, a joint session, except the heads of state. And Lech Walesa at that time was a union leader, and he stood up at the podium with tears in his eyes. We gave him a standing ovation, and he said, you know, how proud he was to be standing before the Congress of the United States. And he looked up and he said, I'm just a simple electrician. He needed work done in the Capitol. He said, I'd be glad to help. Everybody laughed. But then he went on to speak about how when the Russians were brutalizing, when the Russians were physically and mentally abusing his family, when he had to worry about where he was going to be put in jail, and he put in jail several times, remember, he said he always looked to the United States and the symbol of liberty and freedom. Because if it hadn't been for the capital of the United States, the people of this great country, he would have given up long ago. And of course, we gave him another standing ovation. And this happens over and over again. I say to the people who serve in all wars, and even the people that served in peacetime, you know, some of the most productive people that ever served in the armed forces served in peacetime, because the ultimate challenge is to deter the war, to keep the war from happening. And our armed forces and the money we spend have kept us out of the war time after time after time. The challenge itself has kept these other countries from invading or attacking the United States. I was over to Berlin a couple years ago, and I stood at Checkpoint Charlie, and I looked at the wall, and I thought to myself, communism has to build a wall to keep people in. You see today, our biggest challenge is to keep people out. We have to build a wall to keep people out. And if there's so much criticism in the United States, how come so many people want to come here to live in this great country? And when I saw the wall crumbling, when I watched that on TV, I said to myself, that didn't happen accidentally. That happened because of the 50 years of fighting against communism on every front. In Central America, in Afghanistan, Vietnam, and Korea. General Patton said we ought to take on the Russians right now, and make it right after World War II. Well, it took us a long time for them to finally fall. But why did they fall? They fell not only because we were strong, they fell because they had a country that tried to dictate from the top down. We've got a country that dictates from the bottom up. You run this country, and the distinction, the nation, a small town America is what made this country great. I'm proud to be here. I'm honored that you're honoring the veterans of Beaverdale. You honor me by inviting me to come. I'm just going to tell you how much I appreciate the work that's gone into this by the committee. And the work all of you have done in order to make this country so great. God bless America.
Joe Sweeney, would like to have a couple of words.
recognition, sincere appreciation of outstanding services and assistance, which contribute to the advancement of the American Legion programming and activities dedicated to God and country. The American Legion post Beaverdale, Oklahoma, 460, designed by the commander of State Commander signed it was later, and these certificates were supposed to be a surprise. Before I do that, one other thing. Next year, Beaverdale is having its 100th. These certificates are related to our number one man, great treasurer, Raymond Hammond, for our regional, and this Doris Belknap, Kurt White, Frank Benton, who was leading on the money is George and Franco Wallace, and I talked with them. William Haverford, and I see the last young lady over here, Shirley, did all the amazing work for Secretary of I'll give you these a little later, okay? And I appreciate you guys. We have a dance after this. We're selling tickets. We have shaker balloons. And we appreciate you coming.
I hate to be the one to finish with clothes, such a nice affair, met so many old friends. That's unbelievable. Anyway, dance, right? Heavenly God and Father, we are grateful for your divine guidance over our nation, your past and acts upon our integrity and security. Look with favor on us to remember the heroic and unselfish qualities of the men and women in our military service who have preceded us. Foster in us a deep awareness of your continuing gifts of pride and honor for the welfare of our present and future generations. Guide our steps and bless our efforts as we strive to follow the principles of our country on which our country was founded. And again, like the other fellow said, God bless America.
Yeah, open. Walt Mike is up on the hill.
The big federal board because that's what he says when he tells some people that he works at Benny Middleton. I mean, he always says, well, they know Paul has a wonderful golden retriever dog. He's like a child. Benny Middleton. And he loves his dog. So if he ever has children, you know, I don't know how much we can love a child because we grab on.
Did you get over there and get your dog picture there? Sure. Who do you know? I don't.
Want to see what's going on.
Give me your hand. Come on, we gotta get out of here. People want to take some pictures, honey. Come on.
Oh, pardon me.
Justin, what was he fought World War I?
He's my uncle.
He's on that one. Where is Leonard? That's all right, I'll see you later. Nice meeting you. Nice meeting Yes, that would be clean. But that's part of it. When she just stayed with the kids, we took care of the house with I'm sorry today, my son. My neighbor.
why I asked you. See, I just went. Oh, Dave. About 20 minutes ago. Walking a couple big candles.
She never seems to know what to wear. She has a lot of nice sporting things, but I think for him, well, she says, I don't want to buy dresses because I never wear them. That's nice. So just one nice, one nice. It's not fancy, but something nice dressed up for nice. How you doing?
Us little folks. Can you all hear me out there? Yeah. Sure. I would like to welcome everybody to the second half of our reunion weekend. And I guess I would like to remember at least one of my relatives, David Tell Michaels, the brother of my grandfather, Ellis Michaels, who was the first chairman of the committee that actually built this memorial honor roll. And I think it's just fitting to remember some of the old people that lived in the area that did such quite a good job, and also that felt so strongly for this community. I guess I would like to start, with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and if you would all join me, I would appreciate it very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to now ask Mike Hudak, the chaplain for the local post for 80, to come forward and have the invocation. guess I got you all returned.
No, I don't think. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Mike.
Thanks, Nick. Almighty God, Judge over men and nations, we are gathered here today for a grateful and patriotic celebration to honor all loyal sons and daughters who served our great republic, and we remember with love and thanksgiving our departed comrades who showed their loyalty to our country during their lives and sealed it with their deaths. May thy spirit rest upon this gathering. May it uplift us all to thy teachings and to the welfare of our country. Amen.
Next, we'll have the band play the national anthem. Next, we'll have a musical medley by the Forest Hill Band's Gary Nastas, director. Sure, enjoy yourself. World War I a veteran, And I'd like to ask our post commander, Bill Ivanchik, to make the presentation. Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. This piece that comes with this medal, and I'll read its entirety. Enclosed is a gift of the Robert R. McCormick Tribune Foundation, a private non-for-profit foundation located in Chicago, Illinois, patterned after World War I Victory Medal awarded to those who served in that war. This commemorative medal is surrounded by a wreath of laurel signifying honor. The wreath is encircled by a band wearing inscription 75th anniversary of World War I. At the bottom, the band is blue, indicating loyalty and devotion to duty. On the reverse side is a branch oak, which symbolizes strength. It acknowledges the sacrifices and the contributions of the veterans who fought for our freedom. The inscription they came on wings of eagles is from the famous World War I American Memorial Monument at St. Nazarene, France. Also included a dedication is a grateful reminder in commemorative duties, dates 1918, 1993. I present this medal to you. And also saying you are the oldest active Legionnaire in Beaverdale. I hope you belong many more years. And this I have to say, this gentleman here, every spring, calls up, send me an absentee ballot, right, Joe? Oh, yeah. Every November, send me an absentee ballot. You can't ask for any more. That's a patriot and Legionnaire.
Take the mic over to him, huh?
You take the mic over to him, Ron. You have something to say.
Maybe Joe will.
I thank everybody that came here in this honor. I thank them from my heart. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to recognize all the veterans that were killed in the line of duty. We'll start off, if you will, with the Civil War role, and I didn't know, but maybe many of you don't either, but we did have one gentleman, John Shank, who was killed during the Civil War. Next, we go to World War I, where we had 12 of our fellow community people killed in action. First name, John Archibald. Next, James Bateman. Edgar Cartwright. John Cook. Simon Cornell. Harold Hughes. Thomas Hunter. Owen O'Donnell. Peter Petruna. J. Laverne Rogers. Stephen Schuster. Raymond Swansboro. Next, 27 of our fellow community people died during the Second World War. Frank Arhar. Millard Bateman. Lois Beatrice. William Brunette. Alan Burkett. William B. Chappell. William Cook. Andrew Dulac. Joseph R. Grubar. John Gazelle. Michael Hovanik. John Harushka. Joseph E. Conchos. Joseph Mistalski. Walter Michaels. Robert Morris. Lois Nodich. R. Donald Novak. Michael Orischak. John H. Oswald. Alex Sintelik. Michael Slavinik. John Steigers. Michael Stupi, Frank G. Vichik, Boyer Westover, Leroy B. Westover. I guess I'm happy to say that none of our people left. Taps were provided by Daniel Perich, and the echo was by Amy Nepper. Next, we would like to have the commander of the Cambria County American Legion, Ed Lipnick, make a few remarks. Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. You're right, Commander. It's not the County Legion, it's the district, which is also the county, as a matter of fact. As I said last night, it's a good thing you do here. And I have no reservations in saying it's an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be here today to participate in this program, in this Memorial Day program. Today, we honor the memory of those men and women who went off to war, never to return. We owe them more than one can express in words. The fact is, our nation owes its very existence to those who answered the call to duty. Thomas Jefferson said, "The ground of liberty must be gained by inches." Yes, by inches, and by the lives of those who fought for liberty's hallowed ground. Who will honor their sacrifice, if not those of us who are blessed to call America our home? World War I saw 116,000 lives lost in service to America. Who will cherish their memory and mourn their loss, if not all Americans who love this country? World War II saw 400,000 United States servicemen and women lose their lives. Then came Korea, Vietnam, and more recently the Desert Storm. Let us not forget those who have died in our latest peacekeeping missions. In all, more than 1 million Americans have died in wars since our country was founded. Who will remember those who gave the last full measure of devotion to the cause of justice, freedom, and democracy, if not those who live under the protections of these great principles? All Americans, we the people, must remember what they fought for. We the people must cherish their memory, and we the people must honor their sacrifice. As a member of the American Legion, I'm proud to say that throughout our organization's 75-year history, we've never forgotten our fallen comrades. To the young people here today, who have no first-hand knowledge of war, I pray that it will always be so. And I want you to know that those that we honor today did not die because they loved war. They did not. The soldier, above all other people, prays for peace, for he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. There have been times in our country's history when Americans have had to take a stand over right or wrong, for good over evil. Throughout our history, Americans have battled against the mighty forces of power-hungry tyrants bent on world domination, against those who cared nothing for freedom, against those who cared nothing for human life. Had we not resisted, our country and the nations of other freedom-loving peoples would have been destroyed. Americans who answered their country's call are the reason that you and I are free to gather here today. Thus, America's war veterans and our fallen comrades bequeath this heritage to our children and future generations, a free and just country, unlike any other in the world today. No doubt there will be wars and rumors of wars, but America will remain strong if our young people step into the future girded with the knowledge of our country's proud history. History shows that America is free today, not because of diplomatic skills. Americans have shown time and time again throughout more than 200 years of history that we are willing and able to fight and die if necessary to remain free. On this day for a memorial, with grateful hearts, we honor those who selflessly gave all that they had to give. Let us thank God for America, and let us thank God for those patriots who went off to war, and let us never forget those who did not return. Thank you.
I would like now to ask Leo Gerb, who is on a committee for the members of the D-Day reunion, to give a few remarks.
Thank you very much. When I spoke to my wife in anticipation of this moment, I told her how frightened I was. And she said to me, "You'll think twice before you give your okay to another thing like this," but I'm partial to veterans, having been myself a veteran, so that's why I'm here. I hope you will permit me the liberty of these notes, and don't be frightened by this sheaf of cards, because I'm the one that's really frightened. I don't intend to keep you long, but I get a bit emotional when I talk about veterans. So if you'll bear with me, I'm here. It is an honor to be asked by your hard-working committee to say a few words on this very solemn occasion. I feel that I speak for all of us in doing so, and not only for myself. I speak for Beaverdale and the areas which it encompasses: Lloydale, Onalinda, Beaver Run, and the little areas that lie inside of it: Cripple Creek, Greenland, Punky, White Roll. You know, those catchy little names. We love them. We love them. Beaverdale itself, I used to tell everyone, had a population of about 1,500, counting livestock. But during the wars of our time, we were well represented all over the world, and here at home in the United States by veterans, men and women, in many branches of the armed service. Each of us drew military assignments, which for the most part we had no control over. We went where they told us to go, but we went in, did what we had to do, and what we were able to do at home or abroad. I've often heard people say, and I just heard it today up here on the stage, that they didn't do much during the war. I say we should stand tall and proud of what we did, no matter what our assignment was. I was reminded recently of just how well our little area was represented by two incidents which happened to me in the military cemetery on Omaha Beach in Normandy just a few short weeks ago. I was walking through the cemetery looking for graves of my own company members and people who were closely associated with me in my platoon. And I had the locations of their graves. In doing so, I came across the grave, the first one I came across of, it was not from my company, it was the grave of John Gazelle of Lloydell, Pennsylvania, who was killed in the Normandy fighting with the 2nd Infantry Division, and I think it was in July of 1944. Later on, I found the first of my own 4th Division buddies. And as I stepped back to look at the grave, lo and behold, very right next to him was Andrew Dulac, who fought with the 83rd Division and was killed on July 4th, 1944. Someday to be killed on July 4th. Just imagine going to a local cemetery and looking for a certain grave and how difficult it would be to find it, not knowing its location. And here I was in a cemetery with 9,386 graves and another 307 names of bodies who were not known. And in that large cemetery, the first 2 I found were from our area, Beaverdale. Be assured that we are honored and remembered throughout the world for restoring freedom to oppressed peoples, though at times it may seem as though it is not appreciated. Let me share with you a little bit of just one of my experiences on my recent 30-day trip to Europe for the 50th anniversary of D-Day. 50 years to the hour and the day on which I was wounded. On the approaches to Cherbourg, the joint towns of Rufoses and Sochimil chose to honor me and the memory of other soldiers who fought there, but no one had made the trip. I was the only one that was there. It was an all-day ceremony. It lasted all day. There were speeches, singing, a medal, gifts, and membership in various societies and French organizations. There was also a vin d'honneur. In French, it's a wine of honor. The wine of honor is usually reserved for heads of state, but which the French people have come to use when honoring other returning veterans, especially when they're in groups. For this day, the host town stopped work, and the school children were excused from school, arriving in buses as the entire 855 population of these joint towns turned out. Why me? I had no heroic achievements. I was just doing my job as an infantryman with the 8th Infantry Regiment of the 4th Division in World War II. How did they know I was wounded in the field surrounding their town? Well, 10 years earlier, armed with the War Department map, one of the townspeople helped me find the area I was wounded in. So he conceived the idea for this ceremony when he found out I would be coming to the beaches for the 50th anniversary. After all that happened to me on that day and the rest of my stay, I came away with the feeling I had not done enough for them in 1944. You all heard about the $1 million wound, the wound that each of us hoped for, that would not kill us, but would get us out of battle. Well, I got that wound. But my biggest regret now is that I didn't go all the way. I cannot tell you how many times during my trip expressions of appreciation were directed my way. See, I'm touched. I'd be walking down the street and hear the beep of a horn. I'd turn around and the people in the car would point their thumbs skyward in okay fashion, and they'd yell, "Thank you very much." Or people would approach you anywhere just out of the blue, reach out to shake your hand and simply say thank you or merci. Or they'd ask, "Puis photo," in French, "May I take your picture?" They were taking pictures all the time. It was something I'll remember the rest of my life. So they want me to thank you for their freedom and ask me to tell you that they will never forget you. Today we gather around this memorial to honor and memorialize the people whose names appear here. And in doing so, we must also remember those who passed on since returning to civilian life after the war. The names on this memorial are the real heroes of our wars. They won the wars. They were the ones who were selected to give the supreme sacrifice. We are the ones who were granted the many extra years because of their efforts and sacrifices. So it is our fervent desire that they shall not have died in vain. We do not know how much time we have on this earth, but for the rest of our days, let us remember their sacrifice and pray that it never happens again. The lesson is, freedom is not cheap. I'm sure they look down upon us from above today and wish they could be here. If we could hear them speak to us, they probably would lament the joys of life they have missed since they gave their lives. But they would also add that they rest in peace in the knowledge that they lie among many others who answered the call of their country to preserve freedom. They would also express the wish that we do not allow their work to be undone. And I think they would say that they are happy this Veterans Day was organized, and that we have set aside this day to remember them and our freedom. Now I'd like to share with you a poem written by Cadet Major Kelly Strong, Air Force JROTC, class of 1981, Homestead Senior High School, Homestead, Florida. It's titled, "Freedom is Not Free." I watched the flag pass by one day. It fluttered in the breeze. A young soldier saluted it, and then he stood at ease. I looked at him in uniform, so young, so tall, so proud, with hair cut square and eyes alert. He'd stand out in any crowd. I thought how many men like him had fallen during the years. How many died on foreign soil? How many mothers' tears? How many pilots shot down? How many died at sea? How many foxholes were soldiers' graves? No, freedom is not free. I heard the sound of taps one night when everything was still. I listened to the bugler play and felt a sudden chill. I wondered just how many times that taps had meant amen when a flag had covered a coffin of a brother or a friend. I thought of all the children, of the mothers and wives, of fathers, sons, and husbands with interrupted lives. I thought about a graveyard at the bottom of the sea, of unmarked graves in Arlington. No, freedom is not free. We have heard the traditional playing of the stirring taps. Let me conclude by reading to you the words to which taps are added and are seldom used. Taps. Day is done, gone the sun, from the lake, from the hill, from the sky. All is well, safely rest, God is nigh. Neath the sun, neath the stars, neath the sky, as we go, this we know, God is nigh. God bless America.
Thank you, Leo, for those moving comments. Our commander of Post 460, Bill Danchik, will now introduce the main speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you, Leo Jerb, for the speech. I'm proud to introduce our speaker of the day, our main speaker of the day. And when we, the committee, decided we wanted a lawyer or a judge for this occasion, I said to Ellie Gafton, I said, it's got to be a Notre Dame graduate or we have no judge. So we have a Notre Dame graduate as the judge here. Mr. Creaney graduated from the University of Notre Dame on Dean's List. Went to law school at Dickinson. His studies were interrupted by the service in the United States Marine Corps from 1968 to 1972. He was fifth in the class of 245 at Officers Training School, Quantico Beach, Virginia, and therefore completed artillery school, Vietnam's language training in Monterey, Georgia. While attending law school, he worked at the Legislative Reference Bureau in Harrisburg, PA. He passed the state bar exam in August of '74 and was admitted to the Cambria County Bar Association in Pennsylvania Supreme Court on October 17, 1974. He was later admitted to practice before federal court in the Western District of Pennsylvania in the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, United States Court of International Trade. He served as Assistant District Attorney from 1976 till 1976 to 1986, and District Attorney from 1986 to 1992. He was in partnership with his father for a while, Judge Eugene Creaney. He was appointed as a judge in Cambria County Courts in 1992 and elected a full term in November 1992. And I'm proud to present the Judge of Cambria County, Timothy P. Creaney.
Thank you, Hep, Colonel, other members of the podium. When Hap invited me to come here and speak to you today, he said that if I didn't, he wasn't going to root for Notre Dame this year. Well, anyone who knows Hap knows that his remark wasn't serious, that it was going to take a heck of a lot more than a refusal from me to get him to stop rooting for the Irish. And anyone who knows me knows it wouldn't take that threat to get me here to join you. I'm really honored that you asked me to come to speak with you today in this ceremony. You set this weekend of celebrations together to honor those among you who have served, those who have died in the many conflicts in which our country's been involved. This year in particular, we've had our attention justifiably centered on what's happened in World War II. The epic conflict in which many of you, Leo, many of the rest of you, served, and conflict in which my father and the parents of many of the rest of us served. That conflict pitted our democratic system of government against the worst form of totalitarianism. And from that conflict, we truly emerged as a leader in the world. This spring, as Leo mentioned, we had beautiful ceremonies on the peaceful cliffs over the English Channel, commemorating the landing at Normandy on D-Day, an event which was by no means peaceful or beautiful. And every issue I get of the American Legion or the VFW or the Marine Corps League magazine has articles commemorating another campaign in that conflict. Most recently, both the American Legion and the Marine Corps League magazines had articles about the Pacific campaign on the Paulus Islands, and more particularly the battle to take Peleliu. And just in the past week, I had the privilege of reading some notes that my father-in-law made of his recollections of World War II. He just died on July 9th. And over the years, particularly as we sat down to drink or as I took him out to lunch, he'd talk about his experiences of World War II, and it became obvious that even after 30 or 40 years, it was an experience which was really vivid and very meaningful to him. It was clearly the defining experience in his life. My wife and her brother wanted to have those remembrances of his experience with the 3rd Armored Division put to paper, but unfortunately none of us could ever find the time to do it. We did, however, have the opportunity that just before he passed away, a young woman was able to sit down with him and help him write down those recollections. As I said, just in the past week, I read those notes. And it was a very moving experience for me, not only because he and I were very close and I truly loved him, but I feel that I'm fairly familiar from school, from articles I've read over the years, of the history of World War II. But reading his notes, I learned things, and they gave me a perspective on World War II that I didn't have before. And as an aside to the rest of you, I'd like to say that I'd commend that those of you who have similar experiences, put them to paper as well for your children, your grandchildren, any other close friends or family members, not only as a family history, but as a soldier's account of conflict and of war in general. As I said, when I read his memoirs, not only was I touched in a personal way, but I was struck with the spirit, the hope, the can-do attitude that he and his generation took to war, the sacrifices they were ready to and did make, and the resolve, the confidence with which they returned. As it was in World War II, so it was in each of the other conflicts in which our country has been involved, from the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812, the Great Civil War, the Spanish-American War, World War I, and in our own recollections, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, and what we now call peacekeeping missions throughout the world, in Somalia, Rwanda, Bosnia, and maybe in the future in our neighboring countries of Haiti and Cuba. As we trace the history of these terrible conflicts, we can see the evolution and the change in our own country and in the world, and the role that our country has played in the world, and the great contributions our veterans thus made not only to our own country, but to the whole world. As our soldiers waged the revolution, what they were primarily concerned with was to attempt to establish a haven from the oppression that they had suffered in Europe, and they still suffered under the colonial rule of England. They had this same concern during the War of 1812. Those from whom the veterans had wrested control of this great country of ours weren't content to acknowledge our existence as a nation. So we had to again call upon our veterans to preserve that dream of independence and freedom with which our country was born. In the Great Civil War, brother fought brother to determine the course of our country, which internal policies, which politics, which philosophy we would rule. It was with the Spanish-American War that we began to look beyond our own borders, when we realized that our fate was inexorably linked to that of the rest of the world. And in that conflict, and more so in World War I, and the wars that followed, we asked our veterans to sacrifice not only for our own country, but for the whole world. We asked them to protect not only our freedom, and to retain not only our democratic form of government, but to fulfill a moral responsibility to our fellow man, to ensure his freedom, to protect his ability to choose the form of government under which he lived, and to guarantee his right to select those who would hold the reins of power in that country. It was in World War II that we emerged as the true dominant member of the international community, and our primacy has been apparent with each subsequent conflict, with Korea, with Vietnam, in the Persian Gulf, and most recently in a half a dozen other hotspots around the world. We're the only remaining superpower, and we're thus called upon to bear the brunt anytime things go awry anywhere in the world. As Ed said, as we honor our veterans among us, we certainly don't do so because they loved war. As he pointed out, General Douglas MacArthur said, "The soldier above all people prays for peace because he must suffer and bear the deepest wounds and scars of war." Those veterans among us can tell better than I the sacrifices that were required in service to our country. The separation from family and loved ones, the demands, the injuries, both physical and psychological, and yes, even the ultimate sacrifice. In the American Revolution, 6,000 patriots died. In the bloody Civil War, we lost about 500,000 people. As was pointed out, over 116,000 died in World War I and over 400,000 in World War II. We lost tens of thousands in Korea, and in Vietnam, we lost almost 60,000 of our young men and women. In all, well over 1 million of our soldiers died since this country was founded. And many, many more times that suffered injury, physical and otherwise, and continue to pay for their commitment to and their belief in our way of life and their acknowledgement of their responsibility in the world. Our veterans, those among us, paid this price because they saw that they had to take a stand for right over wrong, for good over evil, for freedom over domination. Americans who answered their call are the reason you and I are free to gather here today. And it's through their sacrifice that they ensured that others throughout the world would enjoy those same freedoms. And they ensure that our children will be able to continue to live as we have. Those veterans among us and those who fought and died for this country over the past 2¼ centuries realize that God has blessed our country above all others. But with these blessings comes a sacred trust. God has showered this country with individual freedoms and opportunities shared by no others. But with those freedoms and opportunities come responsibilities. As our history attests, our veterans have willingly accepted these responsibilities. And as we commemorate the sacrifices of our veterans, as we again thank them, we realize that we must be ready to respond to that higher duty, to the needs of all mankind, as our veterans have done repeatedly and without hesitation in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Creaney, for your moving remarks. I know Bill's going to support you through the entire schedule this coming fall. I too want to support you too, but except for one game. At this point, I'd ask Bill Evancic again to make a few remarks, commander of the local post.
Thank you, Mr. Postmaster. This particular time, I want to thank everybody that made the trips, some from California, New York, New Jersey, Ohio. The terrific turnout. On behalf of the American Legion Post 460, I want to express the thanks and gratitude to everybody that attended here, and particularly the people that worked this committee. There was 52 meetings on this committee till this thing was finalized. And that's a hell of a lot of work, and they've done a terrific job. And after chapel allegiance and closing prayer, there'll be refreshments served in the bar. And I wish everyone a safe trip as they travel back. I don't know when we'll be here 50 years from now. You're right, I got it. So God bless you all, and thank you for attending.
I think we also ought to particularly note that Andy Sweltz was the one that came up with the idea, and I think we owe him and his staff a vote of thanks. To conclude today's program, I'd like to call upon Michael Hudak again to give the benediction.
Before we have the benediction, I'd like to call attention to the fact that we lost a very good legionnaire a few months back, Joseph Medden. He was an active member of our post and the adjutant for 39 years. Before I say my prayer, we'll have a moment or two of silence. I really hate to bring this to a close. Everybody seems to be enjoying themselves. Can we go on for an hour or two yet? Are you tired of standing? I guess. Okay. Heavenly God and Father, we are grateful for your divine guidance over our nation through past attacks upon our integrity and security. Look with favor upon us, who remember the heroic, unselfish qualities of men and women in our military service who have preceded us. Foster in us a deeper awareness of your continuing gifts of pride and honor for the welfare of our present and future generations. Guide our steps and bless our efforts as we strive to follow the principles on which our country was founded. Amen.
We'll just have a couple marks from Pete Gadula.
I just want to tell you, inform you that anyone who has paid their 1995 dues and haven't received their membership card, I have them here, or anyone who's interested in paying their 1995 dues, I'll be circulating inside. Thank you.
Thank each and every one of you, and that concludes our program for this weekend. Thanks very much.
I mean, honestly, sincerely, that was great. Very good.
Where does he live? I tried it. You know?
How about that? Talk later. Take care.
Where was the announcement?
I'll save you.
So you said, they look big. I don't think he has 48 kids before this. That's again? Hampton. Hi, man. That's my little girl. No, you're not.
So this year we were going to go to Alaska, but Oregon's Carolyn Butter. What's about it? What's his age? About 7,000 so far.
I never had it for him.
What'd you think? You ever went on a lot? No. What the hell you wearing a hat for?
You know, she went down there, want to go through their old house.
I know it. Thank you.
We left beer and that in there yet, so say beer's on it. We're buying. We're buying.
Yeah, she's gonna walk. Yeah. Walk.
Going to ride up?
I guess we are.
What time is your meeting?
Very good.
Six and a half miles.
Yeah.
because I bought the duck by the taste.
They don't work
I got about 2.5 hour drive, not too bad. The highway, probably tomorrow.
Virginia. I'll be inside.
Okay.
Not this Virginia, the other two.
Okay. There's all kind of Virginians around here.
You don't think I should have
one?
You should see that one picture. Don't you dare take a picture.
Then we would get ditched out. So we figured if we would just put flags on them all, that would